Hello and welcome to the Car Care Nut channel. In today's video, we have a treat. This is a 1998 Lexus LS400. In my opinion, even though it breaks my heart, I gotta admit, this is one of those Lexuses that are actually better built than the LS430, my beloved one. This particular car looks very clean, very nice, mainly because this car has just over 4,000 miles. Not 40, not 400,000, 4,000 miles. The owner just bought this car, they are the second owners, and they intend to drive it seriously until the wheels are off. It's their dream car, and in today's video, we're gonna do a proper tour around it because they just definitely do not make cars like this anymore, and ones that, after all these years, even though with no miles, they hold up like this. Let's take a tour around this LS400 because I think, Jose, what do you say? The video is doing it justice? I don't think so. Jose doesn't agree, I don't agree. There's something about a car that has no miles on it. You know, cars are really well kept. You'll have even like the 600,000 mile Lexus we restored. I mean, Jason went overboard, but it doesn't look like this because this is original paint. It's never been scratched. It never even had enough chance to get swirl marks. This is as close as you're gonna get it from the factory. This is how this car came. So something about this. This is basically a second generation LS facelift. Some folks will refer to it as a third generation. We're not gonna get hung up on that. But this is the car before the LS430. It is timeless. It looks beautiful. There is no other way to say it. And look at these headlights. They are just brand new. They have no yellowing whatsoever. Nothing. The grille. This is when they did these subtle. When the grille is not over the top. You know, you look at their grills today. Giant spindle grill. I don't mind them, but some do. But yeah, this is when they used to be humble. This is the most overbuilt car you will ever see, and there will ever be. But look how humble it looks. This two-tone deal they used to do back then is just beautiful. I look at it. This is possibly one of the best colors you will ever see in an LS400. So there's a few things. Look at this wheel. This is not a refinished wheel. That's why it looks just amazing. There's no other way to say it. It looks amazing because this is the original finish. This is basically a brand new wheel. It just looks amazing. And here's let's talk about the little details. This, just by looking at it, this is a steel wiper. I think this is an original wiper, folks. I don't think this is a replacement. I think the rubber looks like it has that grayish color, so I think they replaced the insert. But the wiper is original. Let's walk around it because, I mean, you know when we do car reviews, I always tell you less is more. I mean, look at this thing. There is nothing more stately than this car. And look, there's no features on the side because they didn't need to. They need to keep it to point. And then the little details. This glass is very heavy. So, do you see this little button looking thing here? The glass track is actually right here, and this is on the other side. It's a pin that is engaged into the track. This was one of the last Lexus models that were like this. I mean, this glass is not going to fall off the track anytime soon. Of course, on the other side as well, right here you got the other track. On the rear one, you do not have a track in the back. You only have one in the front. You have a regular like weather strip or whatnot, but just beautiful. Let's look at the back here. So this is the part that the previous one to this, so 95 to 97, will look similar to this. This is where the facelift model is, but just look at it. I love how these look. The truth have to be said. And this particular one, I mean, you know, usually lights are the most overlooked parts. This is something we were talking with Jason from Car Supplies Warehouse. They're like, if you polish the lights, that car will actually look very nice. This one doesn't even need it because the lights are new and they never had a chance to get scratched yet. That's the best part. Let's take a look at the inside because this is where I'm just gonna open the door and let you all look. This is, yeah, I'm just gonna say one thing about LS400s. When you get one that has 200,000 miles, this is how the interior will look. They hold up so well, it's incredible. But now this one, actually, let me find the keys. We're gonna get the 4,000 mile shot. $4,192. I know all the pixels work perfectly. Same thing here. Everything works perfectly. How about that? So, and that works. That's another one of their common quirks. This is a very different style than the LS430. Something about LS400s, folks, the interiors, they are amazing how they hold up. Nothing rattles, nothing makes noise. They are solid, and this wood feels amazing in all of them. Now, the only thing with the LS400, you don't really have any possibility of integrations without putting something aftermarket for the radio. That's the one thing about them, but just what a simple interior. I mean, this is the most opulent car when you drive it. But look at the interior. It isn't excess. It's just nice. They spend all our money on the installation and the build quality, because you look at everything. See, this is where they used to do. Let's look at a little bit of the details. This is something they used to do in the past. This pillar goes all the way, and it is a one piece. They don't have a brake here. They don't do that anymore, because it's first, with airbags, this pillar is huge. Second, you have an airbag here. You can't make it one. I mean, this thing is a continuous piece. This is all one piece. Look how aesthetically pleasing it looks. It breaks down here, but just, yeah. And here's another thing. Pretty large sunroof. And they don't do that anymore because they need the structure for the roof. And then you look at the way the headliner is put together. You have, like, it tucks away. You usually see the headliner go all the way to the seal. Here, it tucks away here, and there's like a 2-layer. It's just beautiful. This car is like new. I'm afraid to touch things because it just, yeah. Here's the stuff with cars like this. This genuine leather from Lexus. These are the care instructions for the leather. They normally come hung on the mirror when the car was new. Those who are fortunate enough to have seen these when they were new, you will remember them, because this is not some fall leather that, you know, whatever they name them these days. This is real leather, 100% genuine leather. And it holds up so well. Here's the other thing about these. The seat has actually springs, so when you sit, it's a springy seat, and that's by design, so it absorbs some of the road vibrations and bumps and whatnot. It is just, yeah, I'm in trouble, folks. I need a car like this in my life. Don't worry, Mrs. Car Care, we won't be buying any more cars. I love this car. It does have two glove boxes with a CD changer, of course, and the other one. And the owner does have, they don't have them right now in the car, but they do have the original owner's manual, all the paperwork with the car. Of course, if you have this, you're going to have everything else. Let's start with our violations, though. Yeah. This is a major violation. I'm just going to say it. Not the remote, not the aftermarket alarm. I get that. This is not an original key. I don't even know if this is my aftermarket one. This needs to go. I'm going to recommend to the owner, get rid of this, get the original key, which has a remote in it, so it will be proper. Now, the alarm, I understand. This is a car that's going to attract a lot of attention, and you may need an alarm within a proper alarm. We do have a back, like, what do you call it, dash cam, which I also understand for a car like this. This is just a GPS, actually not intrusive. The wire just runs here. They just kind of did a clean install, so it's not, they didn't want to take panels and run it behind the scenes, but I get it. This is one of the few options you have with these. Of course, he doesn't want an aftermarket radio here. So this is not a car you want to do that to. But let's look at the back seat, because this is where, yeah, this is the next thing. I don't think anybody sat in this seat. Maybe this is the first time in this car's life that people start sitting in the back seat. But I want you to notice the small details. First, these also have that spring feel. Look here. This is a plastic piece, but it's wrapped with leather. Same thing with the pocket all the way down, because this is when they used to just go overboard with things. And then you look at this piece of the interior. It's all wrapped with leather. This is all genuine leather, folks. This is the same leather as seats. So is this. And even they give you these wrinkles, folks will think this is worn down. No, this is how, this was a style back in these days. And then you have a little fancy cup holder. Look at this headliner, folks. It is the easiest color to get dirty, but it just, yeah. Then you got a little light here, which you can enjoy the ride in the back of your LS400 back in these days. These handles are huge, and they are, of course, leather wrapped. It is, yeah. It's just, I'm just, yeah, I need one of these cars in my life. I think one point, maybe if we sell some of the herd that that I own, to get one of these. Let's take a look at the trunk. This is where these cars had a pretty large trunk, width-wise, not really depth-wise, but that part carried over to the LS430. It just came to this side. I have reason to believe, and here's the I have reason to believe that something here has been taken apart, because some of these panels are not sitting 100% possible, very possible. Let's take a look here. This is the original floor mat, which basically looks brand new. There it is, just for good measure. Another one. Spare tire, which is the, is this the original spare tire, or the tire itself? There's the date on this tire. Well, it's covered, but there's a very good chance this is actually the original tire from 1998, because yeah, this is interesting. Something about these LS400s you may not realize. The fuel tank is literally right there. If you pull these panels, that's where the fuel tank is. It's not outside the car. This is something they used to do in the past. Not a great idea, because now you don't have any passover between the seats. So the LS430 was actually the first LS to move its tank under the car, so you can have bigger trunk and you have the passover in between. And here's the more details. Look at this hinge. So they have this, see this rubber? This is actually where the wire runs. So they hide it with this. And then on the other side, there's actually nothing that runs here. They just covered up the same way, so it would look uniform. They never do stuff like this in new cars. You just have a little plastic chintzy cover. They literally designed the entire hinge thinking that we're going to run the wire here, we're going to put this little trim, and it's going to look uniform. Just look at it. It looks beautiful. Why can't we do that with new cars today? I have no idea. We're so worried with gizmos that we don't pay attention to things like that, because the quality of everything, I mean, it's impeccable. Nothing feels cheap or flimsy. Nothing. In this entire car. Even the plastic. I mean, this is plastic. Just, yeah. So when you don't have to spend all your budget on gizmos and features, you spend it on stuff like that. Well, let's get a high quality plastic. Let's take a look under the hood, because this is one UZFE VVTi. Talk about that flashing little thing. One UZFE VVTi. This was actually the first year that they have this particular iteration of the 1UZ in the LS. So 89 all the way to 97. They had actually the previous, the original 1UZ, which didn't have VVTi, which had distributors, spark plug wires. This is a much better engine, folks. I'll be honest, because you don't have the distributors and the wires. These don't leak as much oil. It's a more powerful engine, smoother, better power delivery. Actually, I take back the smoother part. That's one thing about this engine. It is not as, I mean, It's still one of the smoothest engines you'll ever see run in any car, but it's less smooth than the previous one. The previous one was just unbelievably smooth. Then we get to small violations. Just gotta keep them honest. This, if you haven't seen what this is a device that supposedly gets rodents away. I'm gonna make a suggestion to the owner to take it out, toss it out. It does absolutely nothing. Folks, the best way to prevention is to not have rodents to begin with. And I understand why they're afraid. They're trying everything in case a rodent gets in here. But the major violation is, and this is actually, the owner was not aware of this, this is how the car came. Where's my battery hold down? And worst yet, how does a 4,000 mile car, well, when they got it, it had 3,000 miles. How does a 3,000 mile car has no tie down, missing? I mean, come on. That's not even the problem. This is the wrong battery for this car. Because do you see how the posts are stretched? They're not supposed to be like that. This is a, if I'm not mistaken, this is a 24. We need a 24F, where the positive is here, negative is here, and this would sit properly. This cover is here. This cover, they actually broke it. You can see the little piece of it here. That's where the other cover sits. I mean, in a car like this, you want these details right, because this is, and this is actually, they bent this part. Yeah, so whoever replaced this battery, we forgive you. Let's put it this way. This is for the aftermarket alarm that they have on the car. I understand. It's, you gotta worry, and that thing is just going away. But just look at this aluminum. That's all I'll say. So we have the Vixen that basically makes a finish like that, but this is the original finish from the factory. Same thing on the master cylinder here. Look at that. Look at the valve cover finish. It's unbelievable how they used to do things. Folks, new cars, however the aluminum comes is how they put it in the car. That's finished. This valve cover actually has a finish on it. It's not just the natural aluminum. Same thing with this one. Same thing with, I don't think that one though, but this one definitely the intake. What a beautiful car. Why don't we put it on the lift, take a real good look underneath it, because we're not going to see another one like this for a while. Let's put it this way. You know, I always tell you every car's story is underneath it. Let me tell you a quick story about this car. We just had the owner here, because of course he brought us this beautiful car. I wanted him to look underneath it and see it, even though he's a little nervous. He's not, you know, someone that works on cars, but this car is currently registered in Canada. When you register cars in Canada, I guess they have to do like a safety inspection to make sure everything is correct and everything. And he just bought the car. He just spent a small fortune buying it, of course. So the inspector, when he looked underneath here, he told him, oh, this is probably a car from California that is just pressure washed underneath it, rolled back the mileage, and here you go. No, folks. No. Let's take a look. First, you notice it's not even dirty underneath it, because this car hasn't even been driven long enough to really get dirty. That's the first thing. Second thing is, look at the suspension, and I want you to pay particular attention to the color of the bolts. Even California cars, eventually, from all the brake dust and all the stuff, they're gonna discolor. Look at this caliper, the paint on it. It is not discolored. There's actually a distinct silver color, like a gray color, because the brakes have not gotten hot enough for that paint to start changing color. These are the little details that you will see about a car, and you know these mileage are correct. This is correct. I mean, look at this here, the exhaust, the bolts didn't even change color. I mean, this is something that gets hot right away. They don't change color. Look at this one. This thing is just amazing. This is a piece that you will rarely see still on an LS400. Usually most of them are missing it. This one has it. It just, words cannot describe how beautiful this is. I mean, this exhaust, usually in our area, it all gets rotten here. This is discontinued. And the few owners that are loyalists to this car will have, I'm thinking of one that owns one exactly the same color. Will have one stashed away for rainy days that they found. but this one looks brand new. No other way to say it. Look at the shine of this. Usually these get discolored with heat. Nothing. It looks brand new. This is literally welcome back to 1998. It's just amazing. This is something with ultra low mileage cars like this that are old. It's not dirty. I mean, there isn't. It's not dirty. That's what makes them so just beautiful looking. And then we come to the exhaust here. Of course, the quality of this exhaust isn't. Even the LS500, which has a really nice exhaust quality today, nothing like this. And then the color of the bolts, the drive, it's just. Mrs. Car Care and I, we're about to get into a disagreement here because this is just. I want to buy this, put it in my. I know, buy this, flip the car over, and just look at this all day long. That's what I want to see every day. This differential is, look at this, and we have a scratch on it. Even the writing on it is just nothing faded. Everything is just exactly how it came back out of 1998. I mean, here's the best part. You buy a new car today, drive it for 6 months, it won't look like this. And this is from 98. Isn't that something? It is just. Yeah, let me say one thing to that inspector in Canada that told him, oh, they rolled back the mileage. No, they did not. Flat out. They did not. And for those that own an LS400, I want to show you something, because these cars have a known problem with a certain control arm or strut rod, the manual will call it, which is this one. There is a bushing there that is notorious to wear off. And look at this one. It's already started. This is kind of a Achilles heels of this car. So when you start hitting the brakes hard, it'll make all kinds of clunking and feel like all over the place. This bushing loves to wear out. And this one is starting to crack pretty heavy at 4,000 miles. It's just, I actually told the owner right now, I'm like, you might want to buy these. I mean, these ones are not far gone. They don't have movement or anything. I would buy them and just store them on the side, because one day you're going to replace these. And if they're discontinued, that's a problem. But folks, what a beautiful car. One small, right? We're going to talk about it a little bit, but just, we want to thank the owner for bringing this car here, because it's just, you don't see these cars every day. First, these 400s, the way they're made, and then you don't see cars with 4,000 miles. They're this old. It's just absolute time capsule here. Beautiful. And that is the beautiful LS400. Folks, this car is just, it's one of the highlights. Let's put it this way. We've had an LS430 here that had similar miles, I think 10 or 12,000 miles. That was in the same condition, but this is the next level. This generation LS400, they really hold up. I mean, you get them with whichever mileage. They're going to need work. They have oil leaks. They love oil leaks. They love power steering leaks and power steering pumps and whatnot. But if they're not rusty, they just hold up. They don't really have serious issues. Few little things, odds and ends, but nothing serious. This particular car, however, I mean, there are a few violations. We talked to the owner about them. Actually, some of them he wasn't fully not aware of, and he knew about them today. But what do you say, folks? Should we get in trouble, serious trouble, Mrs. Car Care Nut, and just send the owner home in an Uber? I don't think he's going to take that, because, yeah, I can't have another car. I have way too many cars. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this privilege of seeing this car and just witnessing it, going around it, checking it out, because you don't see things like this anymore. First, they don't make cars like this anymore. Second, you don't get to see them this many years later with 4,000 miles, because this is basically how this car came out in 1998. It's just beautiful. I'd like to say two things. First, huge shout out to Tony, who owns this car, who brought it to us. Actually, they bought it, and the car is in Canada right now. They came to visit some family, and they gave us the privilege of checking out this car and filming this video with it. That's the first thing. Second thing is, we're going to wish him well, because this is a dream car. He stretched the finances to buy it, and he wants to drive it and enjoy it. He wants to re-experience how it is like to buy an LS400 back in 1998, today in 2025. We're going to wish him well, because this is truly a beautiful car. And I think it's in good hands. He's going to really enjoy it and take care of it. And it will last him actually a very long time, because the thing is basically brand new. Folks, I hope this video was helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some of my other videos. Until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.